Welcome to the highlights of the first day's play of the final test between Australia and the West Indies. The test match which will be the last for Clive Lloyd, one of the greatest cricketers and men ever to grace the cricket field. The weather wasn't too good in Sydney for the start of play. 23 minutes were lost, in fact, with light drizzle before the umpires were able to go out in the centre. Alan Border won the toss, and the teams were very interesting indeed, showed quite a divergence of opinion on the part of the selectors of either side. The Australians, for example, went in with two spinners, Bennett and Holland, whereas the West Indians dropped Roger Harper, and they've played all four fast bowlers, so they're certainly not thinking alike in that regard. The pitch, well, Tony Greig reported that it was a bit damp in the centre. It looked as though it might play too paced, but Border won the toss and decided to bat. We pick up play now in the third over. 3 runs are on the board. Holding is the bowler. Graham Wood is taking strike, and your commentators are Bill Laurie and Keith Stackpole.
Hook shot, safe, bounces 20 metres to the right of Courtney Walsh, and 4 runs. A positive start by Graham Wood. Gone, dropped. Straight to Greenwich at Gully, got both hands to it. Beautiful piece of bowling. That was quick, but it was a catchable catch, and Greenwich put it down.
That was a fine delivery from Holding. Outside off stump, not all that far. Wood virtually had to play it, just dabbing at it, running it off the face, and what one would consider to be a straightforward catch to the West Indies, and going down. And Gordon Greenwich not happy with himself.
Holding to bowl to Hilditch for the first time. Certainly troubling Graham Wood with his extra pace. Gone! What a catch! Good delivery and a super catch by Dujon.
Well, you just put the mocker on Andrew Hilditch. Bill saying he was looking so good this morning, but an excellent delivery from Michael Holding. Certainly the move by Clive Lloyd to bring Holding on has paid immediate dividends, and what a great catch by wicketkeeper Jeffrey Dujon. Just a one-hander. It would have gone through to Clive Lloyd, but he went after it, just moved fractionally off the seam, and airborne Jeffrey Dujon. Clive Lloyd really not even making a move to go after it. So good breakthrough. Hilditch, a great game in Melbourne. Fails up here in Sydney, getting that outside edge, and a one-handed catch by Dujon. And that was going very quickly too. So Australia losing a wicket. They're 1 for 12. Hilditch out for 2.
Kepler Vessels, the leading run getter for Australia this summer to date, with 332 runs, an average of 41.5, comes to the crease with the fall of the first wicket, Andrew Hilditch. Oh, he would have been gone. Holding did the fielding. Vessels was stranded. He went for the silly single. Holding, a fine athlete, picked it up, had the 3 stumps and missed.
Graham Wood is the batsman. He's facing Garner.
Graham Wood in the air, but wide of Courtney Walsh and into the square leg boundary.
Holding to Kepler Vessels.
And that beats Larry Gomes. Nicely timed by Kepler Vessels, and even with the slow outfield, will pick up a boundary. Kepler Vessels' first boundary, Australia 1 for 31. Vessels picking up that line very quickly. The fact that he had quite a bit of room and slashed it away past point. And that one gets away from Michael Holding on this occasion in the gully. In fact, it almost bounced up and gave Gordon Greenwich the chance to pull in the catch.
Walsh to Vessels.
Once again, Vessels picking that wide delivery and giving it a fearful hammer through the offside. Third boundary to Kepler Vessels.
And that's through. Typical Kepler Wessels shot. Cut wide of gully and just reaching the boundary. And that's Australia's 50 on the board. That's the 50 partnership between the two. Wood had to wait on that ball. He was in position so early, but the pitch is so slow that he had to wait on it. So the 50 partnership between these two, and that's a very good effort. Especially with the loss of an early wicket. It's true that both of them have had chances, but that's their good fortune, and they're playing better and better.
Well, that one's, I think, hit him on the crash helmet. One head by.
Magnificent shot from Kepler Wessels. The ball slowing up will beat Larry Gomes. That's his 45th boundary of the series. And of those 45, 41 have come through the offside. That's a no ball, and he's struck two. So twice in this over, Malcolm Marshall has struck batsman. Wood at one end, getting it on the helmet, and now Wessels getting it somewhere on the shoulder. It's in the air. Appeal all around. Not out, says umpire Mel Johnson. West Indies seem confident that that came off the bat. In fact, Wood has been hit on the upper arm.
And that might have come off the glove, I think. There's quite a loud shout from the bowler and from all the fieldsmen behind the wicket. But umpire Ray Isherwood, in his first Test match, disagrees with the West Indies that it came off the glove. And that'll be close. But there's no one there backing up, so Gomes has to chase what he has thrown. And they'll pick up 2 extra runs. Although it could so easily have been a run out if the throw had hit. Australia 1 for 77. Good placement there by Kepler Wessels. Playing the late cut. And fine return from Vivian Richards. Magnificent return from Vivian Richards.
And there is a short mid-on now, and there are 2 men behind square waiting for the hook shot. And there it is. And there's one of those men not quite able to get to it.
That's a beautiful shot. Wood really hitting that one down and hitting it well too. Greenidge, the man square, or should I say the square of the 2 men down at down in that trap they've set for Wood, but he was too good for them on that occasion. This is a lovely shot. Notice how he rolls his wrists over that ball, smashes it away down, and Greenidge moving across quickly there, can't cut it off. Wessels perhaps getting a little impatient.
That's landed a long way out in the outfield there. It's a pretty good stroke. They did set a fly slip or fly gully for Kepler Wessels up in Brisbane when he was thrashing away. We might see that come up in a moment.
That's a beautiful shot. There's no one back there. And notice the face of the bat there opening up. Wessels decided to hit that one in the air over the top of the gully fieldsman, and he hit it smack in the meat of the bat.
41 to Wood, 45 to Wessels. Courtney Walsh from the Southern or Randwick end. Good crowd here today, considering the type of day it was early on. Didn't time that, but they're going to look for 3. Only get 2, and the 100 comes up for Australia.
Yes, and the crowd out here really enjoying this too. It's been a tremendous fighting partnership by these 2 Australian left-handers. They've both been dropped. They've both been hit all over the body. They've hung in there, and they're making it pretty tough for the West Indians.
There's no one out in that area. It's gone for 4. 50 up for Kepler Wessels. Congratulations from Desmond Haynes.
Yes, a lovely shot from Wessels. The trap is not set for him. He latched onto that short ball very quickly. It went running away down towards the boundary just behind square. So a half century for Kepler Wessels.
Larry Gomes comes in. Kepler Wessels takes strike.
And that's well struck. That's the 100 partnership between the 2. Slightly short, slow pitch, and bang through the onside for 4.
Kepler Wessels faces Joel Garner.
Just dropping short. So another good delivery by Garner. This is a good spell by the bird. 4 runs, but off the outside edge, and he isn't happy.
His face says it all. There ain't no justice.
It's 1 for 126, and now Bill Lawry with Ian Chappell.
Thank you, Tony. Out! What a catch! That is a classic catch, a Coca-Cola bottle of beauty. Desmond Haynes at mid-wicket breaks the vital partnership with a great catch.
And the Australians may really rue that shot by Graham Wood. It was unnecessary. They were right on top. And what a brilliant diving effort. Desmond Haynes, when he decides to give up batting, it can become a soccer goalie. But a very important breakthrough for the West Indies. A brilliant effort from Desmond Haynes. Australia lose their 2nd wicket with the total at 126.
Gomes now to Greg Ritchie.
Ritchie off the mark with a nice little deflection, a confidence builder. A very good partnership by Wessels and Wood, broken by part-time spinner Larry Gomes.
Oh, he put that away really well. Full toss, it's true, but not very regularly is a full toss put away with such panache as that one. Hit it beautifully past mid-on for 4.
So Malcolm Marshall going around the wicket. Try a different angle to Kepler Wessels.
And that's got him on the forearm. That was where he was struck in the Adelaide test by Courtney Walsh, and that's why he's wearing that forearm protector. In fact, it got him just above the glove. Four runs, short outside the off stump, and you can bet your life if you're short outside the off stump, Kepler Wessels is going to go after it. He's got that through. 4 more. Down to 3rd man. Found the gap between gully and 3rd slip. And yet another boundary for Kepler Wessels carries Australia to 2 for 163.
Michael Holding bowls to Ritchie.
What a shot. Very confident pull shot there off the bowling of Holding. It's not often you see him hit in that direction, that way for 4. Beautiful shot by Ritchie. Oh, well played, beautifully played. Up on his toes, driving the ball back past the bowler. And I'll collect 3.
It was a very good shot. So Kepler Wessels now has 2 men behind square, waiting for the hook shot. Very odd positioning. And that's why he's there. Wessels has got it away, almost where the man was just a few moments ago.
Yes, there are a few strange things happening out there at the moment. I noticed as well that Clive Lloyd moved the second gully in. That one hit away to square leg by Kepler Wessels. As Richie Benaud says, to the position where the fieldsman was.
And he's got 4 more. Well, will it go? No, it won't. They're going to have to run. Just take 3. That's a real indication of just how slow the outfield is. And it's 2 for 179.
It's been a tremendous innings. Just the one chance. Beautiful shot, straight down the ground, going down towards the boundary. Holding will cut this off. Wessels racing back for the 3rd. That takes him to 98.
That's one of the best shots Kepler Wessels has played all day. Moved his feet beautifully, got to the pitch of the ball. Timed it perfectly.
So here goes. Wessels on 98. Well played. This will be it. He's flying down the wicket. Back for the 2nd. A huge cheer from this crowd. Kepler Wessels has made 100 against the West Indies. And what a courageous knock it's been.
Magnificent knock by Kepler Wessels. Always got the idiots who want to come onto the field to spoil someone's great moment. A magnificent performance from Kepler Wessels, a century now against the West Indies. He's made centuries against England, Sri Lanka and Pakistan.
Well, it's the ultimate. Getting hundreds in Test cricket is what every batsman strives for, and when you do that, well, it's a fulfilling of an ambition. It's a great feeling.
Well, now it's Ritchie's turn. He's got 25. Marshall still staying around the wicket. Bouncing him, and Ritchie managing to keep that one down. Just 1.
Walsh to Ritchie.
Oh, that's a terrible delivery, and he's hit him right in the face. That really did rear up for length. And straight away, Wessels calling to the dressing room. It looks like a nasty blow just below the eye there. That one lifted, reared up and hit Ritchie just below the eye. It looks as if it's bang on the cheekbone. Well, he's up. There's obviously a little cut there because a little bit of blood. That really was a nasty delivery.
That reared from, well, it was only just short of a good length. Might even have been a good length delivery. Didn't look as though it took a piece out of the top. But that was a very nasty blow. It hit him flush.
And Australia 2 for 197. Kepler Wessels 105, the second century for Australia in this series.
You must be seeing that ball as big as a football now.
Alan Border off the mark. Oh, and once again that nasty delivery from Courtney Walsh. Really, not only does he get the bounce, but he gets the leg cutter going as well.
And it doesn't happen every time. It's just the odd delivery that pitches, cuts through the crust of the pitch, and then lifts with total unpredictability. Or they're expecting the ball about waist high, got it about chest high.
And Alan Border deciding to play the pull shot when the ball was pitched in short. Wasn't quite short enough to play that shot, but he's got away with it.
It wasn't a very good shot.
Richards to Alan Border.
Oh, and it's a good delivery. Dujon's just a fraction slow in getting the bails off, and Alan Border has got the foot back down. But that was a magnificent delivery by Vivian Richards.
Yes, he lured them down and spun away, and Dujon took some time to remove the bails. He got back in time.
Well, he's decided that he's had enough. He's gone right down the ground and hit it into the fence for 4. 2 for 216.
Walsh to Wessels.
That's close. Not out, says umpire Isherwood. He's had a lot of work to do on this, his first day in Test cricket. Good shout.
Done it pretty well too. Hasn't panicked at all, just probably pitching outside the line of the leg stump maybe.
Good shot. Firm, straight drive. And that would have been probably 3, possibly 4, had this outfield been faster.
Well, that was a terrific day for Australia, 2 for 235. Although they're only 2 wickets down, just don't think for one moment that it was easy out there. It was a very, very difficult day for batting. The pitch was too paced and a variety of bounce out there as well. And the bowlers at times bowled some unplayable deliveries. It was a very fine performance from the Australian batsmen. 2 for 235. Kepler Wessels 120 not out, and Alan Border 19. The men out, Hilditch 2, Wood 45, and Ritchie retired hurt for 30. 77 overs bowled in the day, shortened by 23 minutes. So that's the equivalent of 81 overs in the day. Now bear in mind that there were 18 of those bowled by Gomes and Richards, the spinners. I think that's a disgraceful over rate. And the 2 for 235 was scored at the rate of 50 runs per 100 balls. The West Indian bowling figures, just 2 wickets taken. Holding has 1 for 44, and the other one taken by Gomes, 1 for 29, with the assistance of that brilliant catch by Desmond Haynes at mid-wicket to get out Graham Wood. So a terrific performance from the Australians today. They've won the toss and batted, a brave decision that, and they now have the chance with their 2 spinners to do really well in this final fling against the West Indies. Welcome to the highlights of the second day's play of the Sydney Test match, the final one in this series between Australia and the West Indies. Well, there was no joy for patrons early on because I'm afraid showers swept across the ground this morning before Kepler Wessels and Alan Border could get started. 63 minutes in all were lost, and it was a very sad sight. Nothing worse than a cricket ground with the rain coming down and the players not able to get out in the field. And a good crowd present at the SCG for the start after the successes Australia had yesterday. The start of play today, the score was 2 for 235. Kepler Wessels 120 not out, Alan Border 19, the men out Hilditch for 2 and Wood for 45. And the news of Greg Ritchie is that although he has swelling under the eye and there's quite an abrasion there, he's going to be okay and he'll be able to bat when needed by his skipper Alan Border. The West Indian bowlers had worked hard yesterday. There's a bit in the pitch for the spinners and a little bit for the pace bowlers as well. We pick up one of those pace bowlers now. It's Courtney Walsh, the second ball of the third over, and he's coming in to bowl to Alan Border. Your commentator is Frank Tyson.
And it's Courtney Walsh who's going to test the batsman first. And immediately, Border produces a crashing square cut. What a great shot to start off with there. Perfectly executed, the ball short of a length outside the off stump. And Border hitting down on that and dispatching it through the point area.
Border in strike. The bowler is holding. And it's banged away. The outfield is even slower now than it was yesterday. We've just had some rain, and the batsmen just get the 2 runs for that.
Alan Border aware that any loose ball must be punished from here on in.
Rather strange looking delivery from Michael Holding. Almost appeared as if he had got there without his rhythm and that he was thinking of not going through with the delivery. So the 250 on the board. And here now is the new bowler, Joel Garner, MBE, member of the British Empire in the New Year's Honours. And that's a fine shot. Wasn't all that short. Won't get 4 for it because of the slowness of the outfield. But picking up 3 for a very good shot.
The Australian batsman taking the attack to the West Indian bowlers now with the 250 runs posted on the board.
Shot. He really hammered that in position early and clobbered that between the short legs for 4. 2 for 260.
It's good to see him back in some sort of form.
Cracked that away. He's hitting this ball really sweetly now. He's come out with an entirely different attitude, and there could have been trouble there. And Dujon, even with the glove on, throwing down the stumps, almost past the point of no return for the 2 batsmen.
Bad throw by Larry Gomes. Definitely a run-out chance. And that was very close too. Alan Border leading from the front. That's his equal highest score to date in the series. He looks in much better touch. A lot more confident. That's almost a lethal delivery. That was a beauty. It was pretty well played. Alan Border practicing, and that's what you must do if you're not going to hook. You must either get inside the line, go to the offside, or fall back away to the leg side, which was the way he played that. He went down under it and fell away, a la Bobby Simpson.
And he's got that over the head of the gully, looking for a second and coming for it. Good running. There's no question about Alan Border's tactics since play has resumed.
That's his highest score of the series, and he got there with a thick edge, but he went after it. It's a positive Alan Border.
So the Australians now making every attempt to push this score along as quickly as possible. It's a great shot. Gomes will cut it off, and the outfield is quite slow here today. That's well hit. Richards will pull it back as it slows up out in the outfield. That's a marvellous piece of fielding to restrict that to 2. It's 2 for 279. Garner from the Paddington end. That's a good shot. Greenwich has quite a chase from mid-off. And Vessels will get back comfortably for the 3rd.
So at least one scoring opportunity comes Australia's way.
be a run there. In fact, Border's looking for 2 and Vessels is going with him. Good running. It's going to be Malcolm Marshall continuing from the Randwick end.
It's a 50 for Border, and a good one too. Steadily improved this series to match the performances he put up in the Caribbean, where he was the outstanding batsman. 50 to Alan Border. Not sure he timed that perfectly, but it's still racing away over the outfield. It's very slow down there, and Greenwich is going to go after it. They're going to look for 4, but can't get it. 100 stand up between Vessels and Border. That's the sort of thing Border has to do now, because listening to Ian Chappell summing it up perfectly with the West Indian methods, which are to bowl their overs very, very slowly and drop in 2 or 3 short pitches and over, so the ball goes well over the batsman's head, thus restricting the scoring opportunities. You wouldn't mark that down as an exemplary piece of cricket from the West Indies, with the ball getting away from the keeper, and then he wasn't back there to take the throw over the top of the stumps. That is the stroke the Australians have to start playing. If they're going to get 3 short pitches and over, then they have to be prepared to hook or pull. You can't just stand there and watch them go past. That's been the tactic in the other test matches. This is a slow pitch, a little bit of variable bounce, and they have to be prepared to go for the shots off the back foot if the ball's short.
Well, that's played away straight down the ground. There's a grab at mid-on. Well, that brings up Kepler Wessels as 150. What an innings it's been. Full of courage. He's batted out there right since the fall of the first wicket.
Courtney Walsh bounces Kepler Wessels and he whips it away for 4 through mid-wicket. Is it going to stop? Is it going to run into the gutter? It gets there. The first boundary since 1/4 to 1, Frank Tyson.
Well, that's brought the Sydney Cricket Ground to their feet. All the spectators cheering madly as finally the Australian batsmen succeed in breaking the shackles, these restrictive shackles that the West Indian bowlers have placed on the batters, their defensive field formation.
Exactly 24 hours since the last wicket fell, that of Graham Wood caught by Haynes at mid-wicket off Larry Gomes, and we haven't seen much of spin today, Frank. Oh, it slipped. The batsman can claim that, of course. Alan Border saying hit it, but Kepler says no, I'm 161, I don't need a bonus for.
.27, Joel Garner, the big bird, flies in from the Randwick end.
Probably the shot of the day from Border, driving on the up against Joel Garner. The slow outfield gives him 3 runs, but that was beautifully timed. And Alan Border coming back to top form, a long time at the wicket. Concentration and timing coming back, and particularly confidence. That was a superb off drive. Drives, beats mid-off. Vivian Richards, the fieldsman. 2 runs. More runs.
Walsh to Border.
Slow ball and he goes for it. It's in the air. Gordon Greenidge is under it. He's gone. A slow delivery. Border trying to hit down the ground. And Courtney Walsh at last gets a wicket, but well played, Alan Border. A welcome return to form and a fighting innings.
His best effort of the series, and I think there's no fault attaches to Border for getting out, because he knew that his side had to force the pace, had to go for the runs, put themselves in a position in which they could declare. Therefore, that ball just wide of the off stump, the attempt to hit over the top, possibly making the mistake of not trying to hit it through the covers, top edging it, lofting it high, and Gordon Greenidge makes no mistake. Those hands clasp around the ball. And Border departs the scene with the total at 3 for 338.
So a tremendous total is 342, 3 wickets down. And it's going to be Michael Holding now. Been brought back now at the Randwick end, and he's off his short run initially. He's bowled him. He's dragged that one back onto the stumps. Kepler Wessels off the back foot, trying to smash that through extra cover. Big inside edge, and then dragged it back onto his wickets. Well, that's the end of a great, great innings.
And the end of Kepler Wessels' great innings, coming by the fact that he dragged it back on to the stumps. Pretty similar to the way that he got out in Adelaide when he was on 98, but real loosen up delivery that from Michael Holding. But this crowd at the Sydney Cricket Ground rising to a man to applaud Kepler Wessels as he walks off the ground. Tremendous innings from him. He had to battle with tough conditions yesterday morning, and here he is in this final session of today's play, out for 173 in Australia now, 342 for 4.
So Greg Ritchie, the new batsman, resuming with his score on 30. Straight away, plays a beautiful shot to square leg. That was a bouncer, and Ritchie confidently back on his toes, hooking it away behind square for 4. Lovely shot.
Holding to Boone.
Another quick single. Boone very keen to pick up the quick singles out there. Four for 350. And again, Boone looking for the quick single. Every time he hits the ball, he starts running out of his crease there, and Ritchie very quick to send him back.
Ritchie, he'd need to be right on the toes at the moment with his calling between the wickets.
Richards picks up, shies the stumps, and be out of it. He's gone. He's run out by a mile. Well, David Boone has been threatening to run every time he hits the ball. On that occasion, Ritchie decided to go with him. Ritchie could well have sent him back. It was his call, really, because it was behind square on the leg side. But what a brilliant piece of fielding from Vivian Richards.
Well, Greg Ritchie had said no on several occasions. On that occasion was butchered by David Boone. Worked the ball. Viv Richards picking it up, was practically past him, as we've so often seen. Hits those stumps. It's just as though there's a magnet in them when Viv has the ball. An easy decision there for umpire Ray Isherwood, and Greg Ritchie out. Run out for 37, and lucky call there in Australia, 5 for 350. Steve Rickson, the new batsman. 13 test matches, an average of 18. And the West Indies striking back with some quick wickets.
Oh, he's gone, caught behind. Or did it carry? No, it didn't. Well, a big catch it, and everyone goes up, but Dujon indicating there that the ball didn't quite carry through to him, and so Rickson survives.
And a nice sporting gesture by Jeffrey Dujon then. That would have been his 100th catch in Test cricket. It was a tough decision for the umpire, but quick to signal there that it didn't carry through, and that a nice gesture by the West Indies wicketkeeper.
So it's Courtney Walsh again. Rickson has the strike. He's still on naught. And that's one in the air and just past Clive Lloyd. He likes playing that shot on the onside. On that occasion, playing it in the air but into the gap. So Rickson now off the mark with 2.
It's good running. They went on Gomes' arm. Nice picking there by Steve Rickson. Here's Marshall now coming into Steve Rickson.
Well, he ducked into that one, turned his head on it.
And got for his pains a very sharp blow on the leading shoulder. Right on the point of the shoulder. That must have been pretty painful.
He is the world's fastest bowler, and he's had enough of this, I think. And where's that gone? Right between the slip and the gully. One went one way, the other went the other. And in fact, it's leg byes. So the ball goes to the boundary. And that's the first boundary for 17 overs. And Rickson didn't know where it went.
Holding to Boone.
And that's gone through. A little bit of misfielding there by the same Gordon Greenwich who caught Border. Allows Boone to get 2. Rickson has had all sorts of problems with that short ball. He's ducked into 3 now. Twice he's taken it on the point of the shoulder. Once he's got 4 leg byes off the helmet, and he really ducked right into that. That ball was no more than waist height, just above, and he went right down into it.
And didn't even bother looking at it. His head was averted. He was looking towards the keeper as that ball took him on the shoulder.
There's the old man after it, Clive Lloyd, just showing a little bit of the old expertise in the covers, where he was one of the game's outstanding fielders a few years back. 5 for 391.
Michael Holding now comes into Steve Rickson.
Close. Not out. Holding gives it the big shout. Mel Johnson not interested.
So it was a good shout. Just swung in a little bit, and that's probably the thing that Mel Johnson ruled against the LBW for.
It's in the air, he's under it, and there's the wicket. Rickson falls to Joel Garner, and the 3rd wicket for Michael Holding.
And once again, that pension for the shot on the onside has brought about Steve Rickson's downfall. He's caught the leading edge, straight up in the air, and Joel Garner takes a very simple catch. So once again, Steve Rickson falling there as he tries to hit away on the onside. He's out for 20. Australia 6 for 392.
Murray Bennett, the hero with the bat in Melbourne, played very well on both occasions. Joins David Boone for Malcolm Marshall. Bouncer. Well, he's bowled a few bouncers today.
Steve Rickson wore a couple, and Murray Bennett got one that was very close to the helmet. I think that was probably a warning shot from Malcolm Marshall. Play a few shots, or that's what's going to happen.
Slashes, top edge, races away, 4 runs to Murray Bennett. The crowd roars. There hasn't been much to cheer about in this final session. Malcolm Marshall's not happy. The 5th four of the day off the bat, and Murray Bennett away to a good start. Bennett, fine shot. Breath of fresh air brings up the 400 for Australia. Generous round of applause for the 400 and Murray Bennett injecting some life into this final session. Good shot. Boone breaks the shackles with a boundary square of the wicket on the offside.
That's the 6th one from the bat today. And it's the first for David Boone, who really has been struggling here. That'll give him a lot of confidence. He found the gap nicely, and perhaps a bit of sunshine on the outfield. It's getting a little quicker.
Well, it was pretty much the same sort of day as the first day of this final Test match. Today, Australia made 179 runs, and they took a long time in doing it. 75 minutes lost due to the rain, but the West Indies had them by the throat tactically towards the end. Clive Lloyd called the tune right from the moment Alan Border was dismissed. His bowlers bowled precisely as Lloyd wanted, and it finished up with a scorecard looking like this. Australia 6 for 414 at the end of day 2. Boone is on 29, played some good strokes towards the end, but he really did struggle early on. Bennett is on 8, and the highlight of the day, Kepler Wessels 173. Hit 14 boundaries in that 173, and a return to form for Alan Border. I thought he played well down in Melbourne. He showed glimpses of real form down there. 69 today, played some lovely strokes. The West Indies bowling, they were solely concerned with containing in the second part of the day today. 3 wickets to Michael Holding, 3 for 74. And Malcolm Marshall, rather strange to see no wicket against his name there, for 100. And Walsh 1 for 97, with Gomes having his 1 wicket on the first day. So the Australians have 414 on the board. I'm not quite sure what Alan Border will do now. I thought he might have closed this afternoon. Now that he's batted on to this stage, he might even bat on tomorrow and try and get up to 450 or even more. But you can bet your life the West Indies will use the same tactics. They'll get through their overs slowly. Their bowlers will bowl very accurately, and Australia will find it very difficult indeed to make runs against that type of very good cricket. And it's good tactics from Clive Lloyd. He's done it before. He knows exactly what to do. The Australians have to call the tune. They're the ones who've won the toss. They've got the 2 spinners in the side, and I think they need to get out there as quickly as possible. They have to bowl the West Indies out twice if they're to win the match. We'll see you tomorrow on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Have a very happy New Year.
On off stump, goes right out of the ground. So David Boone is out 1 short of his 50. Comprehensively bowled by the big bird. It's in the air, Gordon Greenidge under it, and a comfortable catch, almost as easy as the one that he took at mid-off to get rid of Alan Border, and that now gives Murray Bennett a batting average, 1 of 48 in Test cricket.
They are the morning.
It's high in the air. Gordon Greenidge again is the fieldsman. That's his 3rd catch, and they've all been fairly simple. That one he had to move a little bit, and that has brought about the declaration by Alan Border, and he'd be pretty happy with the morning's work.
There's no rush as far as Courtney Walsh is concerned. He's taking a very, very leisurely stroll back to his marker. Well, that's in the air. It's going down towards Richards, who won't get there. Not the best hook shot I've ever seen.
And you can see the difficulty there for the Australian tail in trying to score runs. Murray Bennett, who's more front foot driver of the ball rather than a back foot player, then in all problems trying to put that ball away behind square leg, trying to pull it from outside the off stump. The top edge. A little lucky that it fell short. And recover than being on the hill out Sydney Cricket Ground or in the grandstand. Certainly is a great spectacle up here in Sydney now with the 2 new grandstands. Well, that's nicely played. It's good thinking there. It's going to run away down towards the boundary. Just the foot going in there by Marshall. Accepting that they're going to get 2 from that nice little deflection by Boone. It's probably the way to handle those short balls just outside off stump. Just deflect them down there. There are no slips. And that suits David Boone's play. The back foot. Good cutter. Quite a good hooker and puller. And then he really didn't go after it. He went after placement. Smashing that one away, and it beats him at the other side. 4 runs, the crowd loving it. That is almost on the up, I'd say. And the best shot of the morning's cricket so far. Good, healthy cut. David Boone with that aggressive attitude that he's got at the moment. Putting it away behind point. Malcolm Marshall, he's very fine down at third man. The reason for that is that there's no slips. So if one gets through that vacant slip area, he can cut that off. But he couldn't cut off that good shot. There's a run down there to Joel Garner again. They're going to try for the second, and good running. Joel Garner, I think, complaining a little. He wanted to have a go at the bowler's end. I don't think Joel Garner thought that they were going to go through for the second run. But David Boone, as soon as he nudged it away, he took off for the second. In fact, he turned blind down at that bowler's end, but Joel Garner just a little slow in coming in. And at the end, not even throwing the ball in. Saying to the bowler, why weren't you behind the stumps? I couldn't even have a throw down to that end. Well, he's hit that one away to square leg, and Vivian Richards has missed field, and the crowd love it. Oh, there's a mix-up. Oh, my goodness. You've never seen anything like it. Their batsmen running in all directions. Viv Richards down there misfields, and when he makes a mistake, he still causes problems for the batsman. And it certainly takes Courtney Walsh a little bit to learn. It was only the previous delivery. There's that misfield. But just have a look where Courtney Walsh is. He stays up there in the middle of the wicket. Richards has a ping, and then suddenly decides to get back to that stumps. It was only the previous delivery that Joel Garner down at third man told the young fast into the cover area, point region, just away in that leg position. Oh! Well, the bowler still hasn't learnt. I tell you what, every player on the ground is going to have to explain it to him before he's going to get the message. Byers signalled there, the ball thrown at the stumps. Boone, who ran down the wicket at it, managed to get out of the way, and the bowler let it go past the stumps at the other end. Have a look. Rarely do you see a bye come in this fashion. David Boone getting out of his crease, and look at Courtney Walsh once again in the middle of the wicket. So the wicket-keeper there, bringing about his own undoing. And one bye conceded against him. Yep. Holding on that occasion, misfielding. And another misfield there from Garner. Well, the West Indies are looking a pretty ordinary outfit out there this morning. And Clive Lloyd clearly not impressed with what's happening out there. And Australia 6 for 437. 6 for 437. And Boone now just 8 short of his half century. And beginning to get a little adventurous out there. Pushing that one on the offside. This will be close. Another misfield. And it just goes to show what can happen when the running between the wickets. Becomes very aggressive. The Australians picking up plenty of singles. And plenty of mistakes occurring. Desmond Haynes coming in, just taking his eye off the ball. Just a fraction there. And the Australians through for another safe single. Been some good running between the wickets this morning.
Another quick single. Garner's in there, and another misfield. That's 5 out of 5. I tell you what, they would enjoy now. I see 4 overthrows.
Well, that looked funny, Tony. David Boone, the short fellow, Joel Garner, the big man. David Boone taking 2 steps to each one of Big Bird Joel Garner. Look at the Big Bird. He was after it. He couldn't pick it up. It was a long way to get down there. This is good to see by the Australians. Hit on the pad, Murray Bennett. Quick call.
Yes, it's pretty interesting to watch Big Bird Joel Garner alongside little short stubby David Boone. I think it might be 3 steps to his 1, Stacky.
The sweat from the brow on the ball, certainly working away at the shine. Bouncer smashed away straight to Lloyd. Lloyd tries at the stumps, hits the stumps. Boone still wants a run. Lloyd having to rush away again. Well, aren't they accurate with their throwing?
And that would have had to have been an interesting decision by umpire Mel Johnson, because Clive Lloyd didn't even give him the chance to move. Hit quite well by David Boone. Lloyd across, has a ping. Mel Johnson there, you see him behind the stumps. Didn't even have a chance to get side on.
That was quick.
Brisbane, and now on the threshold of another here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Been a lot more confident, a lot more aggressive this morning. He was very uncertain in yesterday's play. A single to Murray Bennett. Must have been some sort of New Year's resolution that David Boone made as Australia bring up their 450. Tony Kosier.
Well, good morning to viewers, and Happy New Year to you. Not quite 1985 in the West Indies yet, but it looks very much as if it's the morning after the night before, when we've seen the West Indies in the field early this morning. Number of misfields, snatching at the ball.
On off stump, goes right out of the ground. So David Boone is out 1 short of his 50, comprehensively bowled by the Big Bird.
Well, he was giving himself room, had been for most of the morning, looking to run that ball down to third man on the off stump out of the ground, not in behind it. Just trying to run it down to third man, the typical one-day shot. Out goes the off stump. So 7 for 450.
Jeff Lawson, who's showed improved batting form in the last half of this series. And that'll be a boundary going in under the sightboard. And it's 4 byes. Jeffrey Dujon not getting the feet moving too well this morning.
We should have got around to that one. It wasn't all that far outside the leg stump. At first sight, it looked as if it brushed something. There was no deflection there, and Dujon diving across couldn't quite get around. And Big Bird wasn't happy, holding his arms out, wondering.
Bavard, he's gone, yes, beautifully bowled. That was quicker. The young man with genuine pace on a dead third-day tracks picked up a vital wicket.
So off goes Gordon Greenidge, caught behind. Disappointment once more for him. Twice, of course. And Alan Border, the captain of the team, will have to make that decision pretty shortly. Might have just made it already, in fact. Set himself a target.
It's a good shot from Murray Bennett. And the outfield slightly quicker here today. And he picks up a well-struck boundary.
Murray Bennett's batting has been one of the pluses for Australia in the last 2 Test matches. Didn't have much of a go as a left-arm spinner in Melbourne, but batted well in both innings there. In different sunglasses, as Murray Bennett is. John Embury, the English off-spinner, also uses sunglasses, but I don't think I've ever seen him bat in them. It's a bright day out there. Sun out this morning, unlike yesterday, but even when it has been overcast, Bennett has worn the sunglasses.
It's in the air, Gordon Greenidge under it. And a comfortable catch. Almost as easy as the one that he took at mid-off to get rid of Alan Border, and that now gives Murray Bennett a batting average, 1 of 48 in Test cricket.
Going for quick runs here, and a few cheap wickets being picked up by Joel Garner this morning. Got a lot of work to do, and here come the rewards now at the tail end of the innings. 8 for 463.
Well, Australia have just lost a man who was averaging 48 in Test cricket. Craig McDermott replaces him with a batting average of 0. Got a duck in his Test debut in Melbourne. Murray Bennett hadn't been dismissed in Melbourne, but he was dismissed by Joel Garner here to give him that batting average of 48.
Ball too close to him for the hook shot. Gordon Greenidge had to wait some time for it to come down to him, but it really was a very comfortable catch. He's had 2 of those in the match. McDermott looking for his first run in Test cricket.
There. It all depends on how much work he does on his batting. That's where the reputation comes from as a straight hitter. He certainly got hold of that one pretty well. The man who does the fielding, Malcolm Marshall, who is fast becoming a tremendous all-rounder in Test cricket.
Good shot by McDermott. He does come right inside of his wicket before he plays his shots, and that was absolutely straight down the ground. And a good shot for his first runs in Test cricket, getting him 2.
Jeffrey Dujon has had a bit of trouble behind the wicket today, and that statistic, 44 extras, according to the scoreboard, is the highest in an Australia versus West Indies Test match. They say 42. They've got there the 1965-66 series, but that is in fact wrong. It should be the 64-5 series in the Caribbean.
We've had 2 good crowds here on the opening days of the match. Over 26,000 on the first day, and the biggest crowd of the series, in fact, yesterday. Just over 28,000 yesterday. Not as big at this stage as it was in either of the first 2 days, but it is the morning after the night before.
It's high in the air. Gordon Greenidge again is the fieldsman. That's his third catch, and they've all been fairly simple. That one he had to move a little bit, and that has brought about the declaration by Alan Border. And he'd be pretty happy with the morning's work. The Australians have taken the score from 414 to 471. They've lost 3 wickets in doing so, but the runs were importantly scored quite quickly. And it works out about right for Alan Border. He'll have 50 minutes after lunch. McDermott and Lawson, the 2 men going off there, will have 50 minutes to do their work with a new ball. And as they're the only 2 speedsters, it'll give them the opportunity to come back with a new ball, a fairly new ball, straight after lunch. So that's worked out ideally for Alan Border. And then he'll work away with his spinners. He'll be happy to have quite a big score on the board. 471 with the 9th wicket being Craig McDermott.
And it's always likely that these type of wickets would be falling this morning, with the Australians looking to go for runs quickly. Very similar shot to the one which got Murray Bennett out. The attempted hook coming off the top edge, and another easy catch for Gordon Greenidge. So the West Indies' first target now will be 200 and...
Bowled him! Yorked him! Beautiful piece of bowling. Sheer pace. Too good, Craig McDermott. Bowled him as clean as a whistle. First the attempted bouncer down the leg side, and then the perfect Yorker, and out went the off stump. A beauty.
Yesterday, he's done the right thing in going through to now, so that the West Indies have to make 2 starts. So 9 for 471. The final figures: Lawson 5 not out, and McDermott, the last man dismissed, caught by Greenidge off Walsh for 4. 156.2 overs, 9 for 471. And Boone out this morning for 49. Played some good strokes today, David Boone. Murray Bennett too. Murray Bennett has only been dismissed once in the 2 test matches in which he's played a purely defensive role down in Melbourne and played very well. And here did a good job for Alan Border. 9 for 471. And the West Indies bowling: none for 111 Marshall, 2 for 101 Garner, 3 for 74 Holding, and Courtney Walsh 2 for 118, with Gomes and Richards not used at all today, and in fact not used yesterday. So let's have a look back at the start. And Desmond Haynes, Geoffrey Lawson from the far end of the ground as far as we're concerned. That's the Southern or Randwick end.
These 2 batsmen will not be really in any hurry at all. They have this enormous total to chase. They will have their suspicions about this pitch. Lawson coming in now against Greenidge. And Lawson not a look down the pitch. Yes, both of these batsmen are a little suspicious about this pitch. Clive Lloyd himself isn't too happy about it because he feels sure it will break up, so much so that he only used the light roller between the innings. Runs. Lawson over pitching. Greenidge very quick to seize upon that. Driving it away through the vacant offside field. Vacant because so many men are placed in attacking positions, attacking fielding positions behind the wicket. Good return there from skipper Alan Border, picking up alongside his foot, taking quite a few steps. There was no hurry. There was an easy 3 in that, but the return right by the side of the stumps. The end of the over, 3 runs coming from it.
Last second shot. More a cry of despair. Both these bowlers can put everything into it, And you have to get through 50 minutes.
That back foot of McDermott's does land very close to the bowling crease. Well, it wasn't the most convincing of strokes, and Craig McDermott lets Greenwich know what he thinks of it. It caught the top edge. Greenwich unwisely hooking very early on in his innings, and it was a pretty good bouncer because it was just about level in line with Greenwich's right shoulder, and that magnificent camera shot shows that ball bouncing into the boundary. Top edge, right over the top of Greenwich's head, and wide of the man down at deep fine leg. Too fine for him. Opportunity to move in the air.
Interesting over from
that foot, whether it be in the air or on the ground, has got to be behind the back edge of the batting crease for that ball to be legal.
It's nicely timed. He played the stroke late enough that it went away between the gullies. And that in itself is a measure of Craig McDermott's speed. It was good swinging, attempted Yorker, finished up just outside off stump.
An example of how McDermott can use the new ball, because he definitely made that ball go away from the right-hander. It was a very thick outside edge, steered almost through the gully position. And in that context, one must always remember that this bunch of batsmen played very well in India. Normally it's very difficult to beat India in India on spinning surfaces. West Indies, however, in 1984, 83-84, toured India and defeated the home side 3-0.
They look for three there. It's only gone about halfway to the boundary, but Haynes will be quick enough to come back. That's a very good piece of fielding. None for 21.
Blood for McDermott. That of Gordon Greenidge, a spell before the luncheon break. Greenidge, you can hear the noise. Very confident appeal from behind the wicket and the bowler. And now it's Richie Richardson on strike to Craig McDermott. It's just what Alan Border needed, a wicket in this first session, maybe two, but certainly one to break the opening stand. Fast bowler Jeff Lawson. Good action, he's strong, his statistics are fantastic. Haynes after him, that's a fine shot. Half volley, punch through covers. 4 runs forward, first boundary to Desmond Haynes.
Well, you won't see a shot much better than this one. Perfectly played by Haynes. Magnificent shot, having been beaten by the previous delivery, seeing the half volley and going after it.
Yes, he went back and he was forward. He wasn't quite to the pitch, but the follow-through was Sir Frank Worrell's style shot. Elegant, 1 for 30. Greenwich out for 18. Haynes, 9, and it's going to be spin. Alan Border on the attack, and rightly so. He's taken off a man who's picked up a wicket, which is a strange one. Whether he's changing ends or not, I don't know, but I think this is just a little bit strange with a new batsman at the crease, Richie Richardson, who hasn't been all that comfortable in the previous Test match. But Border going for spin.
He had a long chat with Jeff Lawson at the end of the last over, and it may just be that they were talking about changing ends. Poor Craig McDermott, in his only second Test match, he must be wondering what's going on. A wicket in the previous over, and off he comes.
Well, what it does do is give Bennett a ball that will bounce. McDermott bowled a fine spell. It's broken through. That's all we can ask of a young player. But he'll have a new ball, Murray Bennett. It will drift a bit. It will be firm. There'll be plenty of seam and bounce. So he's bowling to a very attacking field. Oh, the crowd goes. And Richie Richardson eyes bulge as that ball spins a mile. Very rarely to get applause from the members for a ball that spins, and Richie Richardson bewildered.
And look at Steve Rickson's face, smiles all over it after he took that delivery.
Quicker one, and Richardson gets away off the mark. So it's Desmond Haynes' turn. Looking for the rough.
Of course, a batsman has only got to see a ball turn, and he starts to think all sorts of evil thoughts. What's the ball going to do? This pitch is devilish. That second ball certainly has caused some consternation. Just moving back. He was doing that while the bowler was coming up. Isn't that far outside the leg stump?
Bowled him! Yorked him! Beautiful piece of bowling. Sheer pace. Too good, Craig McDermott. Bowled him as clean as a whistle. First the attempted bouncer down the leg side, and then the perfect Yorker, and out went the off stump. A beauty.
This is a really good delivery. Perfect delivery. Richardson too late down on it. Off stump, out of the ground. McDermott has got his second wicket. You couldn't want a better delivery for a fast bowler than that one. New batsman in, unsettled, not quite yet been in long enough to get over those early nerves. Back he comes, bowled for 2. So it's 2 for 34. Did turn, just dropped the wrist, limp wrist, so that when the ball hit the edge, it dived to turf.
Good shot, bad ball. 4 runs. That's what you must do when a guy's looking for extra spin. Pushed it through a bit quicker and shorter, straightened up, and he whipped it away for 4 runs.
Very quick to pick it up. So the West Indies, having lost 2 wickets to the fast bowlers, everyone expects that the spinners will be the ones who will make the ball turn on this pitch and will be the danger men for the West.
Giving it some air. Larry Gomes, he's been the player of the season with the bat for the West Indies. He's been very consistent. Average of 83 with 2 great hundreds. He's a no-nonsense batsman. He's calm. He's very talented. The ideal man for this situation with the loss of 2 early wickets. About it, so can't complain about that. Hasn't scored. Won't be bothering Larry Gomes. Nice relaxed stance. Get into the cry. He gets a thick edge and goes fine. Races down to the boundary. Not a convincing stroke, but it gets Larry Gomes off the mark.
It's in about that position there. He'll avoid those drives and be in a much better position to take a catch. And that's nicely placed by Desmond Haynes. Greg Ritchie is quite a chase from mid-off. 3 to Desmond Haynes, and the West Indies 2 for 49. Spinners like Bob Holland and Murray Bennett. It's nice to get a breakthrough with that new ball. And once you've knocked the top off the batting, then you can just work away with the spinners. And having 471 total, he can apply a bit of pressure through the field placings. Bob Holland has quite a chase from fine leg. And the West Indies bring up their 50.
A round of applause for a good return.
Bennett, he likes to toss them up there, use the breeze. Doesn't put a lot of spin on the ball. Bob Holland will be the man who'll, I think, get quite a bit of turn. And he gives Haynes too much room on that occasion. And even with Border back in the orthodox cover position, the boundary can't be saved.
Bennett must maintain his accuracy. He cannot afford to bowl loose balls such as this, or indeed the loose ball that he bowled earlier when it pitched outside the leg stump. There are just one or two spots on the wicket that are
always a lot of pressure on umpires in these conditions where the ball's turning. Close infielders. Nice shot. Picked that gap beautifully, the one we were talking about, straight down the ground. End of the over, 2 for 69. Men out Greenwich for 18, Richardson for 2, Bennett to bowl to Gomes. Put him down. Sharp chance. In fact, the fielder very bravely was coming forward, Graham Wood.
Yes, perhaps a little bit too keen there, and that one coming at him a little quicker than he thought. One has to be a little careful of getting too close at forward short leg. It's a lot easier to come forward once the catch is bobbed up in the air, and if you're charging at it, as he was there a little bit difficult. But that was very good bowling by Murray Bennett. The ball turning a little bit, and the inside edge flying off onto the pad and then firmly away onto the shoulder of Wood.
Main thing on this type of pitch, where the ball is not really coming onto the bat, is to let the pitch do the work for you. Keep the ball up to the bat. Got him. Well bowled. Well bowled. Rolled that over the top of his fingers. Perfectly pitched for the drive. Desmond Haynes went for it, and the sharp chance was accepted by Kepler Wessels.
Well, this is an interesting one. Hard decision to give. Right in the block hole there, the ball spinning, and sure enough, a good catch made there, because that went quickly to slip.
It did go quickly, and there's no doubt it was a catch. Desmond Haynes hit the ground, in fact. That was why he hesitated for a moment. 3 for 72.
Well, a smile on the face of Wessels there, and this is the reason Viv Richards is out there. Good catch. Nicely taken by Wessels in there at slip, and that's a very happy Bob Holland. Ball turn.
And a good confidence booster with an early wicket.
On Border, maintaining that pressure on the new batsman. A bat pad there. Slip, short cover. David Boone, the man in that position.
Well, he hit that very hard down the ground. It was in the air, but it came from the middle of the bat, went over Holland's right hand.
Richards not prepared to be contained, just advancing just a fraction down the wicket. It went straight back, and in the end, Bob Holland really not going after it. Might have taken his hand to the boundary too if he had wrapped a couple of fingers around it, but that was well struck by Richards.
In there, he's out, drop, what a chance. That was straight in, and how could Greg Ritchie drop that?
Well, they don't come any easier than that. Greg Ritchie holding his face there. Anyone that's played cricket, they know what it's like to drop a catch. That was beautifully bowled by Bob Holland. Same flight, just a fraction shorter, and Richards fell for it.
Well, you don't drop Viv Richards very often and escape with it. Australia could pay very dearly, and you really can't get an easier catch at mid-off than that. Spin bowlers on top. Big total to bowl at, which is very important. First time the Australians have had this type of total to bowl at. They can experiment, the pitch is turning. And that's a nice shot by Gomes, just dabbing it down to a third man. Richards will look for a third here and coming back for it quite comfortably.
I haven't seen a lot of Bob Holland over the past few years, Tony, but he doesn't seem the type of bowler that will experiment a great deal. The experimentation will come only through change of pace. Doesn't seem the type of bowler who likes to try and bowl a wicket, to buy a wicket. Should have plenty of life in those fingers at the moment. That's excellent bowling. 10 overs, 1 for 19. Big gap behind point, which must be enticing for the West Indian batsman. Looking across there, the man at forward point. No one around there. Backward.
He's gone over the top. He's hit that well. Right over the top of mid-on. Was there for him. And Richards having the confidence to lift it over the top. 3 for 92. And here's Bennett to Gomes. Shot, says Richards, and it was. Chipping down, getting to the pitch, and picking up 3 runs. Richards seemed to think it would go to the boundary. A little bit late in getting back for the third, but that was a lovely shot by Gomes.
Once again, good use of the feet by Larry Gomes. If it's up there, he always likes to come forward to meet it. Covers that little bit of turn there. Went through the shot nice and good placement. So it was going to go for a boundary, but this lush outfield here at the Sydney Cricket Ground, which denied the Australians many runs over the first 2 days.
Come in the last 2 overs. Appeal for a catch. Murray Bennett thought he had him there, looking for his first wicket. Not out, says the umpire. Well, this is the type of pressure which the umpires find themselves under.
And a real confrontation there between Viv Richards and Steve Rickson. Viv not impressed with the appeal. Steve Rickson saying, well, I thought it was out, I'm allowed to appeal. The big question was, did an edge go onto that pad? Great effort by the bat pad position there. Graham Wood got the hand underneath it. Look at Steve Rickson. Enormous pressure on umpire Ray Sherwood. He turned down the appeal. A little bit of a confrontation between Richards and Rickson.
Strange breed of leg spinners. They either bowl a lot of wrong-uns or not many. And 1 or 2 Victorians have bowled them every second ball, but this guy certainly holds it back. I've only seen 1 to game so far in the spell. That's the ball that'll spin away to the slips, to the left-hander.
And well caught, beautifully caught there, at short cover. Really was a very good effort. Murray Bennett, spin bowling partner, and they have worked well together as bowlers, and they've combined beautifully to get rid of Larry Gomes.
Good piece of cricket. Gomes using his feet was deceived by a bit of fight. It was a nice loop. Didn't quite get to it. We saw the ball spin and spit of surfage breakage there, and Bennett took a fine one-handed catch. That was excellent bowling. Nice drift, spin and guile, and that's what leg spin is all about. The West Indies 4 for 103.
They're in. Great over from Bob Holland, in which he picked up the wicket of Larry Gomes.
Beautiful piece of bowling. Gomes down the pitch, beaten by the fight, and Bennett across maybe two hands, but certainly predominantly left hand, took a smart catch. See the fight there. It's Gomes down, not quite to the pitch. It was in the air just for short distance. And Bennett with a very good pair of hands, having a good test career, Bennett, batting well, bowling well, and certainly fielding well. Backing up his...
Larry Bennett may have just had a problem in taking that catch. He landed very heavily on his knee. That's in the air and well taken. Beautifully taken by Kepler Wessels. That ball spun and Viv Richards followed it. And a tremendous grab there by Kepler Wessels at first slip.
And what a beautiful delivery. The perfect leg break. Pitched just around about middle and off. It bounced, which is very important. He committed Richards to the shot. He tried to glide it through the gully. There was too much bounce and too much spin, and Kepler Wessels in the game. And Bob Holland strikes a vital blow for Australia. Beautiful piece of bowling. Richards was looking to come forward. He was forced back by the good length. It bounced, and Kepler took a sharp catch. The crowd's gone mad at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The West Indies in trouble. The great player departs at 5 for 106.
Now the West Indian wicketkeeper, Jim.
And he got rid of one of the mainstays of the West Indies batting, Viv Richards.
Probably wasn't a good shot, but it was certainly a great delivery because it spun and it bounced. He tried to work it through the gully. Wessels did the Holland with a nice loop. What's the bounce? Bounce, it went quickly, and Wessels caught it as clean as a whistle. And is he happy?
And as so often happens, a batsman that's under pressure and playing very tight, you get the full toss, you can't put it away. That's exactly what Lloyd did with that last delivery.
That one was short. And Lloyd having no trouble hitting that one away to extra cover. It's a lovely shot. And Holland will be a little upset with that ball. The short one on this pitch is going to be hammered away.
Lloyd very keen to get onto that front foot, but then saw that it was short. He had the chance to go back. And very good placement, putting it away on that offside. Just a little too short there, Bob Holland. Lloyd giving himself that little bit of room that he needed. One spins back, also a bit short, and once again almost in exactly the same spot. Lloyd smashing it away. Lawson not quite getting there and having to jump over the fence in his efforts to try and drag that one back. So a couple of fours there to Clive Lloyd from two shortish balls, and Lloyd using that height of his to advantage. He's got the long reach if he decides to play forward. Once again Holland just a little too short. Very much a back foot player, Clive Lloyd, back right over the top of it. Video replay of the previous shot.
At the moment, Holland has 3. Bennett has had 1 chance missed. But they've both bowled well.
Dujon goes over the top. A little bit of frustration in that shot, but by Jove, he's hit it well. It's gone right through the sight board. Now that's going to be an interesting... Yes, it's a 4. Actually, I think it's cleared the boundary, but it's gone right through the sight board. And the playing conditions say that that's a 4.
Well, that's interesting. Clive Lloyd chipped the umpire there and he changed it to 6, but it did actually go through the side screen. That's 5 for 144 now. 23 to Lloyd, 16 to Dujon. Bennett and Holland. Bowlers. Holland has been going for quite a while now. He's dropped a couple short in the last few overs. That's safe down the ground. It's a massive hit. Miles over. Well, I'll try yards or metres, but it's still a long way over. Can't really say that he flails the bat at it. Can't flail anything that weighs 3 pounds 6, but oh, he gave it some hammer.
Well, they didn't have to worry about that one going through the sight board. It's gone way back into the seats. And not only does he have a heavy bat, but he grips it right up the top of the handle. And took 2 for 41. Bob Holland getting both the wickets, but it's always very important when you've got 2 spinners working away together. It's in the air, but it clears Bob Holland, and it's wide of David Boone at mid-on. Rather risky shot, but Lloyd's got away with it.
This is a calculated effort by Lloyd and Dujon to take these spinners apart. They realise the peril they're in. The figure for the follow-on is 272. And Lloyd and Dujon, as so often has happened,
it's a bit of a game of cat and mouse at the moment. Bob Holland, after having been hit for a 6 and a 4 in the last over, is trying to tie Lloyd down. Well bowled, it's gone in the air and well caught. That's a very good piece of bowling by Bob Holland. Lloyd had got after him, he decided to tie him down, and the perfect delivery, and Lloydie's annoyed.
I don't think Clive can blame himself for that. It was a beautiful piece of bowling. It just moved in the air a little bit from the line of the pads across and then spun back. That's one of the best balls Bob Holland will ever bowl. Drift in the air and then spin back sharply for short leg to take the catch. The man who is trying to thrash him out of the attack. What a marvellous ovation. He had a great ovation.
Got to bear in mind that Clive Lloyd was trying to hit Bob Holland out of the attack. It bowled a couple of quicker deliveries, but it was really the flight there, the curve of the ball away from the left-hander made Lloyd play, and very well caught. Oh, and that's a good delivery to bowl first up. That'll give Malcolm Marshall something to think about.
Drift in, pitch middle and leg, and just missed off.
Leg side all the time.
Well, when Gomes was in, it was slanting away well outside off stump. Normally he bowls it very, very accurately.
And could that be number 5 for Murray Bennett? He must be wondering when this first wicket's going to come, if ever.
It was a good effort, a sharp chance. Is Bob Holland to Marshall.
And an appeal there from Steve Rickson, and he's claimed a victim. Malcolm Marshall just dragging onto the line. And he picks up his 5th wicket in the innings.
Well, that's 2 great deliveries. I think the Lloyd one was the better of the 2, but this was also a beautiful piece of bowling. It drifted in and pulled him into the shot, and still on the line. It looked even from this angle. Yes, he's quite clearly still out there. Couldn't get back. Good piece of work from Rickson. And Holland, well, he's got 5 wickets in an innings in a test match.
West Indies still need 112 to avoid the follow-on. Only 3 wickets in hand. Jeffrey Dujon, their main hope. He's on 22 not out. I guess he's going to have to take up the challenge a bit. In the air, and Bennett has done it. Finally, he has got his first test wicket, and what a well-deserved and hard-earned wicket that is.
And what a very good piece of thinking, because he took that man away from short point, Andrew Hilditch, and he put him behind point. We put the arrow up against him to show exactly where he was fielding in the last over, and Bennett has bowled the perfect delivery for the square cut. That's flown off the top edge.
Dujon out for 22. It's 8 for 160.
And it was his own planning that did it. He took away the man from short point, tried for the square slash and got it. Not always do those things come off, but when they do, it's a very, very satisfying moment, even if it is your first test match wicket as well.
It's a good example of what Richie Benaud's talking about with Joel Garner on strike. We've got the men in the outfield there for the lofted hit, and then the men protecting for the single in the infield. There's an appeal from Steve Rickson, and Joel Garner is on his way. So that's number 6 for Bob Holland. Joel Garner out without scoring.
That spun very sharply. Well, I don't think Joel was all that interested in the appeal. Seemed to be quite a concerted appeal from close to the wicket, but Joel has picked up a duck. Just had the feeling there that he might have collected his boot with his bat as well.
Tomorrow's play in the 5th test, the Driver Avenue box office is open now. Perhaps on your way home. You can your seat for tomorrow's play in the test. Play, of course, commencing tomorrow on day 4.
Joel Garner wasn't delighted by it. And I would say that the ball has missed the edge of the bat. There was a noise, but that's what the big man was annoyed about. That look should have been enough to kill the umpire. Bangs the bat, but importantly, Joel Garner
and that's gone down the ground. Someone under it. He's going back, and he takes it. Well taken on the boundary. Well judged catch, moving back. Always had it in control. Good catch by the young man McDermott. Hit it pretty well, and the West Indies are all out for 163, which leaves them 308 behind on first innings. A deficit of 308. They've fallen to the spin with Holding caught McDermott, bowled Bennett without scoring.
And a well-deserved wicket by Murray Bennett. He's conducted himself in a very good supporting role in support of Bob Holland. Bowled very steadily. He thoroughly deserved that second wicket. And the West Indies now in real trouble with the ball starting to spin very, very quickly. And the crowd encouraged by this very, very
So no wicket for 7, just under half an hour's play remaining, and here's McDermott to Haynes. Appeal, he's gone, leg before. Desmond Haynes out leg before, and the West Indies have lost their first wicket in the second innings with McDermott striking once more. 1 for 7, and Desmond Haynes goes leg before. Here it is. So Haynes not happy with that decision as he walks off, and off he goes. The West Indies 1 for 7, disastrous start once more, trailing by 308 on first innings, following on 1 for 7.
Welcome to the highlights of the fourth day's play of this final test. A very exciting day yesterday with the spinners Bennett and Holland taking command of the West Indian batting and bowling them out, and then giving Border the pleasure of asking the West Indies to follow on. The first time that's happened in Australia since 1960-61. The pitch, well, it was clear the ball would turn as much or perhaps even a little more than it did yesterday, and Alan Border had his spinners into action very quickly. Here's the first over now. Bob Holland is the bowler. Gordon Greenidge is taking strike, and no runs have been added to the overnight total.
Oh, and he's got him. The top spinner has gone straight through Gordon Greenidge as he attempts to cut and knocks the off stump out of the ground. So a marvellous start for Bob Holland in Australia, getting rid of one of the better players of spin bowling in the West Indies side.
Great start for Holland and a rather careless stroke. The top spinner pitched about middle and off, spun a fraction, and Greenidge drawing away, bowled neck and crop. And what a great match Holland is having as Gordon Greenidge departs, and the score is 2 for 31.
Lawson comes in to bowl to Richie Richardson.
Ball keeping a bit low, but Richardson gets the West Indies scoring off to the start this morning.
It will be interesting to see whether Holland does bowl the wrong one to Larry Gomes.
Full toss. Gomes hitting it just wide of Murray Bennett, and it also beats Craig McDermott at mid-off.
It so often happens when batsmen are kept down by a fine spell of bowling. The loose ball comes, and Gomes didn't handle that all that well. He just punched it.
Larry Gomes faces Lawson.
Off spinner. Oh, and well caught. A brilliant catch there by Graham Wood. Good slower delivery from Jeffrey Lawson. And Graham Wood making a lot of ground at bat pad.
Beautifully bowled. It's almost an off break. Held it back. Gomes played too early. It just kicked a bit, and Wood took a blinder. Threw the shot, hit nearly on the splice, and Wood, to his left, took a superb catch. Brilliant piece of bowling, and well backed up by Graham Wood.
Australians really backing up their bowlers. West Indies slumped to 3 for 46.
Craig McDermott the bowler. Richie Richardson takes strike.
That's well played. It was almost the delivery that got Richardson out in Melbourne. The one that Wes Hall, the West Indies manager, calls a doodle bug, a dangerous low-flying object. It's actually an attempted Yorker by McDermott, but occasionally it slips. Bob Holland has had more success this morning.
Ian, but no success there for him. That's a lovely stroke. Classic Richards. With the feeling that was meant to be Bob Holland's top spinner, just turned a fraction. Richards was over the top of it nicely. It's a beautiful delivery. Beautiful piece of bowling.
That would have been half an inch from the off stump, and the bemused Richie Richardson had every right to look that way. Spun right across him.
He's gone. No, he's not. Well, the players around the bat can't believe it. This peculiar shot, thrusting the pad there and hanging in the air. Looked as though there may have been a little bit of bat onto it. The Australians were quite confident. Umpire Mel Johnson turning it down. Full toss, and Richards smashing that one away right off the meat of the bat, running away down to wide mid-on for 4. Been a very watchful Viv Richards this morning, but still capable of putting away that over-pitch delivery. Today he's waiting on it a little longer, waiting for the loose one. He's down there, just 1-2 paces there. Nice on drive for 4. Ethan Bennett not bowling too many loose deliveries. In the air again, and again they ask the question. This time he's gone. Well, as we said, it was only a question of time. Gibbs lunging the pad at the ball with the bat right alongside it. And on that occasion, Richie Richardson given out, caught it forward short leg. And a beautiful piece of bowling by Murray Bennett. He bowled a little flatter, a little quicker earlier in the over. With this one, just held it back a little further, a little shorter. There's enough spin there. Hit the bat first, then onto the pad, and a balloon in the air for Graham Wood. And look at the jubilation in the Australians. And that was well earned, that wicket by Murray Bennett. Richardson out, and the West Indies 4 for 93. And Clive Lloyd receives a standing ovation. This will no doubt be the last time that he strides to the middle in a test match in Australia. And every man and every lady in this ground cheering him to the middle.
Well, Lloyd's gone for it. Hoiked it into the outfield, picked it up with the turn, the ball coming into him, and he picked it up down to mid-wicket.
You really can pick the right ball to hit.
And Richards now steps down the wicket to put Bennett down to the boundary. So 2 aggressive shots, and that was a magnificent stroke from Richards. 4 for 110.
Thomas, please go.
And Richards just getting it past mid-wicket. Didn't quite hit it with the middle of the bat. Long chase for Rackerman, the 12th man who is on. And the batsmen come back for 3. There's the hook, majestically played by Viv Richards. No question of that hitting anywhere else but the middle of the bat. 9 runs off the over. It's 4 for 119. Lovely shot by Lloyd. Half volley, it's true. But he spotted it right away and thumped it down the ground. He's gone down the wicket and given that on a mighty slog. That's gone a long way. One of the great hitters in the game, Clive Lloyd. He really hit that very hard. Nice shot by Richards. Just eased it away, and the timing gets him his 50. So Viv Richards 50, and what a fine innings in difficult circumstances. Innings of a master batsman.
In the air and wide of both bowler and Carl Rackerman at mid-off. Was hit pretty hard. West Indies 4 for 145. Oh, he's got him, the arm ball. Beautifully bowled. And isn't Murray Bennett excited? Well, he might be. That was a beautifully bowled delivery.
Well, that was one of the best balls you will ever see bowled by a left-arm orthodox spinner. Bennett, who's tried out Viv Richards on the front foot with some left-arm orthodox spin on that occasion, sending him back with a shorter delivery, a quicker delivery. This is the delivery he's been a little bit astray with in this game, but that one pitched beautifully. Just outside off stump, Richards going back, giving himself some room, but it hurried off and collected that middle stump. So a great breakthrough for Australia. The man they wanted out is Viv Richards. They've got him, and the West Indies now 5 for 153. For 153. Viv Richards, the man out since lunch, for 58.
In the air and safe. Straight hit, straight back over the umpire's head.
And it looks as though Clive Lloyd's going to take the long handle to Bob Holland. Saw him in the previous over try and go after him. He didn't have the success that he had with that delivery.
And that smash by Lloyd over the top of middle.
Bob Holland coming over the wicket, nodding to Duchamp. Got it. Good catch, second attempt. 6-wicket down, and that's good bowling. I'm not too sure Clive Lloyd will be over happy about that. Geoffrey Duchamp and Lloyd, the last two of the truly recognised batsmen, and Lloyd needed him to stay there.
And what a magnificent piece of juggling this was, with Duchamp advancing down the wicket, slicing that drive, and Holland tossing the ball up. At the second attempt he got it, and there you are. He said, my next trick will be impossible. And that's Holland's 8th wicket in the game. Duchamp is out 6 for 180.
And Clive Lloyd out there continuing with those lusty drives of ease, and that too bringing up his 50. So the crowd on their feet cheering this man in what will probably be, or what is his last appearance at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
Holland to Marshall.
And that's a long hop. He really gave it the treatment. He was on that back foot very early and really hit it hard for 4. He's got that through. Hilditch has done some great work in the covers today, but he couldn't get across for that. And this one will just beat him to the boundary.
Marshall takes strike now. Here's Murray Bennett.
And he's swept that away. Down behind square. It'll just get into the boundary. Picked it up well and swept it away for 4. Lovely shot. That's a magnificent stroke by Malcolm Marshall. He stood there in the pose. Nothing more than a magnificent cover drive would please the West Indian batsman. sweetens them, and that one certainly sweetened Malcolm Marshall. Beautiful shot by Lloyd. Half volley punch through extra cover. Well, this is a grand finale for the old man.
In the air, but it just falls safe. Marshall punching that through mid-off, lofted off drive. At the end of the over, a 6 for 227.
West Indies skipper Clive Lloyd faces McDermott.
Full pitch, gets an outside edge and it races away for 4.
A gift delivery, that one. Clive Lloyd. 9 boundaries to Lloyd and 1 mammoth 6.
Yorker nearly got him. The man on 72, it was beautifully bowled. Drives. Gone! Caught by Border at cover. Driving on the up. Clive Lloyd's last innings in the Sydney Cricket Ground comes to an end, but what a fine knock it was. 72 driving at young McDermott, didn't keep it down, and opposing skipper Alan Border took the catch.
And the end of a great career for the West Indies captain. 7,515 runs in Test cricket. 72 runs today for him. Be a lot of things flashing through his mind as he walks back to the pavilion for the very last time in Test cricket. Malcolm Marshall there just acknowledging not only the innings but the fine career coming to an end. Probably a tear or two in the eyes of the big cat at the moment. The Australians' true sporting gesture there, just acknowledging the end of a fine career.
7 for 231. Craig McDermott's picked up the wicket of Clive Lloyd, and that's earned him a rest. Bob Holland relieving young Craig McDermott. Michael Holding. Got him! He's gone! Yes, first ball. Bit of reflection off Rickson, went to the slip. Vessels, he did the rest, and Holland strikes again.
Well, that's exactly what we suggested, Bill. Craig McDermott, he did the job. He got rid of Clive Lloyd. Immediately Alan Border, good decision, bringing on Bob Holland, the outside edge, straightforward catch to Kepler Vessels. He's third in the match. Very good piece of bowling, just short of a length. Straight away, this fellow right onto a length, Holding not covering the spin, and Holding picks up a duck. So wickets falling pretty quickly now here at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
And a pair for Michael Holding, a duck in both innings. Caught on the fence in the first innings, caught it slip the second. That's 8 for 231. Goes for it, finds a gap between short mid-wicket and Rackerman at mid-on, and races away for 4. Malcolm Marshall not frightened to play the pull shot today. Big Joel goes for it, it's a big hit. Boone's coming around, it's gone a mile high. Falls in safely. 2 runs. It certainly went a mile high. Boone was making ground from the straight hit.
Garner likes to hit straight.
As the big hit has gone high. And the keeper, Steve Rickson, calls everybody away. And Murray Bennett has picked up his 3rd wicket.
Well, the big bird couldn't resist the temptation. He was going for the big straight hit. The Australians absolutely elated as Bennett straightens this ball, and Garner, perhaps hitting across the line a little bit, skies that ball, and Rickson makes sure it's his, shouts loudly. The decks are cleared, including Joel Garner. 9 for 244.
Amazing turnabout from the Australian team. So down and out in the first 3 test matches. They've really bounced back pretty well. The arm ball. And might be a couple of runs there off the bat, I think. Walsh is looking for a third. Marshall wasn't exactly hustling. Walsh using his feet and only a little of his bat.
And the groan you heard, I'm sure, came from Steve Rickson, who was fully anticipating that Walsh would miss that and he'd be presented with a stumping victim, but Courtney Walsh just foiled him. He got an inside edge onto it. Rickson waiting for the ball on the offside, saw it deflected on the leg side.
And he certainly is a big hitter. Hasn't got hold of this one properly. Bennett is underneath it, and what a good pair of hands Murray Bennett has got. And that's a fitting way for the test match to end for Australia. Bennett taking a brilliant catch off the bowling of Bob Holland. Holland gets his 10th wicket for the game, 6 and 4. Murray Bennett played a marvellous part in the Australian victory, which has come by an innings and 55 runs. And Alan Border must be a very, very happy man. And a deserved victory for him. He showed a lot of courage as a captain in deciding to bat first on a wicket that was a bit damp. He then showed a lot of courage with the bat, and he showed a lot of knowledge as a skipper.
That was a tremendous achievement by Alan Border and his Australian team. Victory by an innings and 55 runs. A marvellous performance from the batsmen first of all, and then from all the bowlers in the side. Not just the spinners, although they did the bulk of the work, but from all the bowlers. The West Indies in their second innings, all out for 253 to go with the 163 they made in the first innings. A lovely innings from Clive Lloyd today, 72. Vivian Richards, 58. That was one of the most disciplined efforts I've ever seen from him. If ever there was a man going to try and bat through the day, it was Viv Richards today, until he was destroyed by Murray Bennett. 253 all out. And the bowling figures for Australia: Lawson 1 for 14, McDermott 2 for 56, Bennett 3 for 79, and Holland 4 for 90. And that brings to an end the West Indies' run of matches without defeat. They had 27 without defeat before today. The last test loss they had was December 1981 at the MCG, and the last loss by an innings, 1968-69 at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. And this is the first time any player in this West Indies side has ever been involved in an innings defeat. Man of the match was Bob Holland, and deservedly so for his tremendous performance as leg spinner. Malcolm Marshall, who has had a great time throughout the series with both batting and bowling, was named man of the series. So the pitch, it took spin again today. The spinners Bennett and Holland were very much on top. The West Indians had no real answer. Even their most experienced players couldn't combat them. It's a fight back by Australian cricket. They've improved all the way through. They started disastrously in Perth. They've improved every match from then on, and they can justify their celebrations this evening with the knowledge that they have performed very, very well indeed. The crowds at the Sydney Cricket Ground, excellent, over 20,000 every day, and they saw top-class cricket all the time. Good night.